Welcome back to the Eric Krown crypto channel. Wishing you a happy and healthy start to this nice second day. Isn't it the second day? Yeah, it's the second day of January, baby. We're already one day in, kind of, and very little has happened actually, but there is a few things to be preparing for that are on the horizon. Maybe not necessarily for this week, but very likely for the next week to come. Some major pivots on price action that I'd be very aware of in the next this whole week, in fact, that can then have a major spill-on effect into the next week and then by extension the next couple months. So I wanted to come at all these sort of things, put the puzzle piece together, and then hand over the keys to you. Other than that, I should let you know that we do have our new year. It's a new year and it's a new me. No, it's a new sale is what it is, which we have on the Krown Street application over here. As always, with any one of the programs, with any one of the products, my main concern is that you do not get into something that you do not actually need or want. So I humbly request that if you are interested in anything, then please watch the promotional videos that go alongside any one of these programs or indicators. They'll explain who they're for, who they're not for, what essentially to expect, and then you can make the best decision for yourself if it is relevant. All right, sweet. So let's just jump right into it. Today, I want to start off the analysis with CME. Now, of course, today is basically a holiday, or it's not basically, it is a holiday as far as markets are concerned. So CME is not trading, but there is a big thing to be aware of where CME will open up later today. I believe it opens up later today. Yeah, it very likely, it should, it will. That can help out this analysis. So it's once again the 2-day time frame, volatility versus stochastic momentum signature over here. We've been building one up for quite some time now, and as it stands, I should first explain these signals. So anytime that we do see extreme lows on volatility, which is represented by this indicator right here, which is currently blue, and I defined extreme lows as anything below this green horizontal bar, the expansion phase that follows naturally from those extreme lows for the full history of CME, the last 5 years or so now, has led to an average move of almost 40% over the course of about 3.5 weeks. And the stochastic oscillator has been correcting in the direction of that volatility expansion 82% of the time, 9 out of 11. Again, you know, if I want to address concerns with this, it's not too many iterations, 11, you know, but it is a higher term time frame, and it's all the data that we have. So for better or worse. Anyways, the reason why I bring it up right now is because with the current price action, Bitcoin on CME, when it opens up, might very well be above that momentum pivot, because right now it has been to the downside. And that was giving us a bias for another try to the downside all of last week. We got a try to the downside on CME. It just grazed right above 16,000 bucks. But now when the 2-day time frame opens later tonight, which is a fucking tongue twister right there, and also a titty twister as well. No, just kidding. But in this case, yeah, you know, if it does open up above that pivot, then once again, the probabilities will be in favor of upside. Now, again, I want to be very clear with this. While the probabilities would be in favor of the upside, that is one, not necessarily a certainty. 82% is not the same thing as 100%, obviously. And then two, that still does offer up a nice range where Bitcoin could still put a nice wick to the downside first before that bounce commences. So I want to be very clear with that. But hey, here's the thing. If we do play around with these numbers, we could then forecast that upon confirmation of volatility expansion, which right now we don't have. I mean, right, the next tick hopefully does do it. If you see a positive slope on that, that'll be a damn good sign. But if and when we do see that, then the direction of the stochastic oscillator is very likely the direction of where Bitcoin ends up going. And, you know, on average, we've seen about a 40% move from that signature. So 40% would put Bitcoin in like the low $20,000 territory, somewhere around 21 to 23,000 bucks, somewhere between there. Which personally speaking, I do think is actually rather nice. Anyways, other than that, we could also forecast, you know, how long that would likely take to happen. In this case, about 3.5 weeks from confirmation on volatility. So that would be basically like, you know, around end of January. And yeah, I mean, that's something that I'd essentially be looking forwards to. Other than that, let's now go through some of our other tools. We can see here on the weekly Joule, for the first time in a long time, we do have the potential for an actual upside signal, similar to what we got back on over here before this rally from about 18,000 bucks to nearly 21,500 bucks, which is pretty nice. You know, even though it did eventually fail, that was nearly 20%. Not bad. But of course, we're still 1 week away from that at minimum. So assuming that Bitcoin essentially holds its own for this next week, you probably will see that fire off, which would also be a good thing, I suppose, for the Bulaws, or if you want to be Bula-ish. On the daily, I should also denote that the daily is actually building up a signal right here as well, pretty damn close to confirmation. And other than that, we can also observe that there's extreme lows on daily volatility here too. So we're basically seeing the combination of almost all timeframes printing extreme lows on volatility. Here's the weekly, here's the 5-day, here's the daily, here's a 12-hour, here's a 6-hour, so on and so forth. You get the idea. Anyways, now that we've gotten through that, I do want to show you the weekly stochastic oscillator, because as of right now, it is still pointed to the upside. It's in fact got the same pivot as the 2-day time frame for CME, which is 16,600 basically. So as long as Bitcoin's above there, momentum remains the upside. Again, likely a bounce to open up the year first before anything else. Again, that can't even incorporate, a retest somewhere reasonably close to the current lows. We might have even already seen that last week, but ultimately, if you're looking at the overall range, which we'll get into in this chart, or in a chart in a second, I'd be looking for Bitcoin to trade above that range before below. Again, it's not a macro bottom call. I'm not calling any macro bottoms as of right now. Looking at the daily, we do see that the daily stochastic oscillator is also to the upside as well, as long as Bitcoin's above 16,450. So, so far so good. This week does look like, has a bit of a chance. 5 days still down as long as Bitcoin's below 17, but ultimately short term probably does try for a little bit of an extension on this current rally. Anyways, talking about the actual range, let's go over here to the daily time frame. This is the HPDR indicator. Let me get rid of this. I'm actually in the process of automating some of the quantitative strategies, which I'm really fucking excited for, but it's a massive process. It's a massive learning process for myself and a lot of headaches along the way, but it's worth it, or at least that's what I tell myself. All right, sweet. So the daily over here for the HPDR indicator, this essentially does represent the major range. To the upside, 18,400. To the downside, about 15,800. So any sort of especially any sort of a closure above 18.4 or below the bottom boundary of that, you're very likely to see major continuation. In this case, for the upside, very likely $20,000 or $20,500, I should say, after that. To the downside, next stop would probably be somewhere around low 14s. Anyways, yes, what else was I going to say? Yes, well, yeah, that's basically it. I don't need to explain this indicator yet again. It's already done it enough, and it's hopefully somewhat obvious. I mean, the blue range represents 50% of historical returns. There you go. All right, sweet. So we've gotten that. With these ranges in mind, we can actually even go down to the lower term timeframes and see what they're looking like as of right now. We could, well, should we do the hourly? Should we go for the 4 hour? Let's go for the 4 hour, actually. Should be getting sort of the next sort of potential breakout. Yeah. 4 hour range highs about 17,100 versus range lows a little bit lower than where I'd plot them myself, but that would be 16,150 or so. Anyways, yes, so now let's go and check out stochastic momentum on these lower time frames. So let's start off with the 12-hour time frame. 12-hour time frame is actually showing upside momentum as long as Bitcoin is closing above 16,530. So far so good, as Bitcoin's nearly $200 above that right now. 6-hour time frame is also vertical as long as Bitcoin's above 16,550, a little bit closer to current price action, obviously. 4-hour time frame is also going to be quite up there as long as Bitcoin's above 16,660, so getting a lot closer to price action. And then the hourly is probably flippy floppy and gonna turn down if Bitcoin closed below 16,700 on the next one. So short term, a little bit of sideways, but I suspect that it probably does try a little bit higher. Other than that, the real focus is on where the 2-day time frame opens up later tonight and then closes on the next period, because that could very well be the confirmation of that next next setup. So I think that's a good place for me to be leaving off on this video, keeping this one nice and short and sweet, as it's again kind of a holiday here. I should also let you know that we have family in town, or Elsa has family in town. So if you are trying to get into contact with support or anything like that, responses might be a little bit later today, but as always, never more than 24 hours. And if it is more than 24 hours, definitely send a follow-up email and they'll get to you right quick. It could be that, the email went into like a spam folder or something for whatever reason. That's definitely happened in the past. What else? Yeah, that's it for today. I want to be wishing you the best as always. Take care, much love, and see you hopefully soon.